Hey everyone, I'm out here in western Oklahoma at something that's a little different. This is the old Clinton-Sherman Air Force Base. It's no longer an Air Force base, but it originally started out as a naval base. So it's pretty interesting. During World War II, this opened up as a naval base in 1943. And after the war, it of course shut down as a naval base. The city of Clinton actually owned it for a little while, and then a business moved in here, and then during the Cold War, an Air Force base opened up in it. In 1954, the government started leasing this from the city of Clinton. This base then started having bomber squadrons and things like that come in, and also later on a refueling squadron. So once that started happening, they started building base housing here. You can see this kind of communications tower or something there. They started building base housing and also extending the length of this runway. From what I've heard, this is one of the longest runways in the United States, if not the longest. And the reason is because the B-52 had to land here, so it needed a long runway to take off and land. So when you look at aerial pictures on Google, this runway out here is very long and way out over there. Apologize if you hear any wind, but when you're out here, it's just wide open and it is windy. Way over there you'll see some mounds. I'm not sure what those are, maybe weapons mounds or something of that nature. And you can also see another mound over this way through the fence, right straight out that way. It's kind of hard to see there, but there's another mound there of some sort. And you can see here, this is the old control tower, and the building for that, and there's another tower over that way. So this base was active at that point from 1954 until 1969. And then after that, it's just been a bunch of businesses out here really. But there's one other thing that's pretty interesting, and I'm going to show that to you. I was looking inside where this air traffic control tower is, and of course there's really just not much in this particular room. You can see the old tiles there and a chalkboard and a mop. There's just nothing in there, and it's literally just rotting. Look at the front of this. You'll notice that it says the Oklahoma Gateway to Space, Oklahoma Space Industry and Development Authority. So the Oklahoma State Legislature wanted to develop a space program, or at least make it inviting to companies to come in here to develop some sort of space program, so that it's enticing for companies to develop some sort of space travel here. So what they want is for this base, and it's been this way for a while, so I'm not sure that it's ever going to happen, but if space travel is possible for civilians, say maybe you take a bus up for the day, maybe you take some sort of bus, plane, shuttle transportation to the moon or elsewhere, what they want is for this to be the leading place in the United States for that to happen. So they wanted to entice businesses who were interested in developing something like that to come here on this old Air Force base and use this long airway or the big wide open spaces out there, possibly where those little mounds are that I was showing you, to shoot something up, whether it's a rocket or a shuttle that takes off or something somehow that takes off into space. Whether or not that's ever going to happen, I don't know, because this has kind of been in the works for a long time now. And it made big news at first when they were announcing it, but you don't really hear anything anymore. But anyways, just from the standpoint that this was an old naval base and an old Air Force base, I think it's pretty cool. And so what I'm going to show you is some of the buildings. And if anybody served out here and know what some of these buildings are, please make a comment below and let me know. Because, you know, since I didn't serve out here, I have no clue. We'll just kind of look in some of the windows here. There's a staircase there. I assume it's going up to the tower. And there's kind of an emblem on the ground right there. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot in that window. It does say that there's asbestos in the building. That's kind of almost a given with the time period that this was constructed. You can actually hear something up that way, and it's a air conditioner or something up on that roof. There's one over there, but that's not running. But I definitely hear some sort of air conditioner up there running. But I don't know. It's kind of looking in here to see what's in this building. Not much in there either. Maybe like some kind of cart right there or dolly. And then of course a counter. Otherwise, I'm not seeing anything in there. And I apologize again for the wind, but this is a big, wide open area right here. So I know that's kind of annoying. Didn't bring anything to cancel out the wind. You can see a big fuel tank right there. I'm gonna take you around. Probably mostly stay in the car. That way I can stay out of the wind and you can hear a little bit better if I happen to say something. So here you can see a basketball, what looks like to me a basketball goal right there. But it actually says, warning, active airfield, do not enter. Now the Air Force still uses this airfield for just kind of touches and goes. So they could use it at any time. It's kind of a practice field for some of them coming up from Altus and things like that. But you can see that tower up there, that window's open up there. And just an old building. Kind of looks like it was maybe an emergency fire station or something over there. Like I said, if anyone has any ideas on what these buildings were or they served out here, just leave a comment below. So you can see that sign that says authorized personnel only, and it's locked. And there's this building here. Wanted to just show you it has a payphone there. Wonder if that payphone still works. Talk about an antique. Check out that old truck right there that's used to let passengers on and off aircraft. I mean, that's an old one. That's probably late 70s right there. I wonder if it still runs even. So like I said, I have no idea what these buildings are. They're just, a lot of them are just unused anymore. But they definitely have that old base look to them. A lot of boards on the windows and things like that. You can actually get out and just see what's in that window there. So here we are looking in that window, and I guess it's some sort of power plant type deal. I don't know. Don't know anything about this. You can kind of see stairwell there and some pipes. Something down there. Now this right here is one of the newer constructed buildings on this base. And this building is actually part of that Oklahoma Air and Spaceport program that they're trying to do out here. You can see the sign right there. Here's another old building here, and you can see there's a bunch of like pipes and things like that out there. This building actually says bird equipment on there. So some of these buildings are actually used by companies for their businesses. They kind of, some of them kind of have an abandoned look to them though. It's another building there, and Just another part of this base here. Throughout this base you'll see little parking lots like this, and I don't know if that means that there was another building on the other side or not. Some of it I know were probably just parking lots, but this one right here, it makes me think there might have been another building there. So you can see there's a garage there, and it looks fairly new compared to this right there. This is just an older building there, and it is all boarded up. I mean, it just looks like it hadn't been used in years, but it says welding and machine above that door there, and you can see that old rickety wooden garage door there. Looks like it hadn't been opened in years, but it says building 322 on it. You can see on those particular areas they have cones out there, and those cones are set up to kind of maneuver like almost like a course that they would drive through or do different maneuvers, because you can see more of those state police cars or something like that over there. There's tow trucks, all kinds of stuff over there. Bunch of cars there and a bunch of cars there. So it says on this sign, commercial driver's license test site. But it looks like they use it for a little bit more than that. Not sure what this building is here, but it's definitely falling apart. You can see a hole in the roof right there at the corner. It's definitely seen better days. I'm not sure if it was ever used after the Air Force Base closed. Just driving around here, you can't even read the number that's designating the building anymore, but it looks like it could say 5302. That roof is all deteriorated right there. On this building it says the Spirit of Enterprise, U.S. Chamber of Commerce member. There's really just nothing in there. The ceiling's fallen down, the insulation, some of the air ducts. Got a brick entryway right there though. Show you the front of this building here. It's weird how on a lot of these buildings they'll have blinds on part of it, and then no blinds on the other part of it. Nothing blocking the view in. I thought this was pretty neat on this other baseball field here. It still has the old scoreboard over there, and Dr. Pepper sponsor there, and you can see the dugout here, and it has one of the stadium lights from up above like that right there, just sitting in the dugout. It's definitely overgrown, old trash cans, and not used anymore. And then just another snack bar. Those trucks are on the back side of where that sign is and that building is, but it says U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration. So this is putting America back to work. Barack Obama, President of the United States. And here's this whole building. This building looks old. It looks like something that would have been on the Air Force Base. And at least I guess they fixed it up. I'm not sure what they do though. If anyone has an idea, you can leave a comment on that as well. This is another old base building, and you can actually hear the air conditioners going on this base building as well. All these old sidewalks. I don't know what it was when it was a base, but right now it's another building that the Oklahoma Gateway to Space is using. And it's got covered parking on it. I'm wondering if it was maybe like some sort of officer's mess building or something like that. You can see these trucks there. It actually says Oklahoma Career Tech Truck Driving Training, and they got several trucks there. I don't know if they've got cones out in that parking lot there, but maybe they use it out on that course where those highway patrol cars are at. These are just more buildings that are out here. I'm not sure on these buildings if they were constructed while the base was here or after. They To me, they kind of look a little bit more modern than 1969, but who knows, maybe something was here and it was reconstructed. Some of it looks old, but some of it looks a little newer. Like this particular block brick building looks older. I love these old railroad crossing signs right there. They're very old, antique looking. This building actually says Cosset Geological Services, and it has a parking lot in the back of it there. And it's really just nothing more than a storage deal, I think. There's a quick look at all the trailers that are back behind that building. Just a bunch of RV trailers. Mainly newer, but there's a couple old ones, I guess, there. You can see the railroad tracks. This building doesn't look like anything special, just maybe like some kind of garage where they worked on vehicles or something like that. That's my guess. It says building 327. And of course they've got some trash cans there that say no dumping. On the opposite side of this is this real long building. And it looks like it's not used anymore. Don't know what it is. There's a couple nozzles here. One says latex and clay. And then there's a sign that says no smoking there. But other than that, there's no clues as to what it was or what it was used as after the base closed, if it was at all. This is across from the hangars that you see. There's a cherry picker out there. It's interesting on that hangar right there because it's actually painted pink. Or maybe it was red and it's oxidized and turned into pink. In front of that, there was definitely a building and it's been torn down right there. But I wonder why they decided to paint that. Seems almost like a waste of money. It's another building right there. And it says, looks like building 258. I'm not sure what this is. Make it stop right here, and I'm going to try to zoom in. You can see that mound way out there. If anybody knows what that is, I'd love to know. I don't know if that's something where they stored weapons underneath the ground since this was a bomber base, or if it has something to do with the spaceport that they want to do, or maybe it was both. But anyways, here's a look at that building a little up close. These next series of buildings look like they haven't been used since the base closed in 1969. It's a wonder, I guess, that some of that stuff is even standing on top of the roof, because it's just a flat roof, and you figure with a good snow or good rains and all these summers and winters since then that the stuff would just collapse in. But obviously it was built pretty well. It's got another coated entry to enter that gate, and that part looks new. As you can see there, building 270, it actually has some of those older style pumps that you would have probably seen in the 60s and 70s. There's a pond over there, and there's a bridge that goes over that pond. This is the old base golf course that's there, and it's still used. You can see that it's green out there, and there's a flag on one of the holes right there. But you can still play golf out on that. It's open to the public. Anyone can go out there and play golf. This was clearly an entrance in there at one time, a gate, but they've put this fence up there and just sort of blocked it off. It's interesting, that light pole that's out there is pretty bent next to this building there. And that's abandoned looking. Looks like it hasn't been used since 1969 either. Across from all this, there's all sorts of parking. I don't know if you parked there and you walked over onto that part of the base where you worked, but it's all grown up and grass is growing through the cracks and stuff like that. There's one more building there, building 292, and you can see straight through those windows right there. There's just nothing inside of that. At least it's blocking the view. Some of those windows are broken or missing. There's a little structure out there which looks like some sort of little porta potty or bathroom or a well house or something, and you can see that there is an electrical fence here, and there's cattle out there. This building here has a bunch of junk in it, including this old car right there. Pretty cool looking old car. And there's the building that I'm talking about right there. Look at this little guy right here. He didn't know what to think about me. Oh, there he goes. They're just all sitting here behind this one building out here on the base. Hey there. Can you tell me where to get to the information center? I'm trying to find out what some of these old structures are. You don't know? Or you don't care? You don't like helping people that don't belong around here? Okay. I'll see you later. Bye now. This building is interesting. It looks like something that was either remodeled after the base closed or updated or something like that. Hopefully you can see right up on the top of that. It's just flat as can be, cement slab. Just some kind of storage center is what I think, that was right by the railroads. And no trespassing on the flat building slabs. You can see this building just has a bunch of junk in it as well, out around it. And that's kind of how a lot of these buildings are on this base. This is the old base water tower here. So it still stands, and there's actually some writing on it that we'll see if I can zoom in and pick up. Now this writing here is going to be a lot easier, but around the top of the water tower there's some writing from different squadrons and stuff like that. And you'll have to forgive my Latin there, but liberatum defendum something, and then the sticker's kind of ripped. There's definitely some writing there. Let's see what this writing is. This says 3rd Combat Communications Group right there. Give you a look straight up at that water tower there. And it looks like Casalier Air Force Base. And then maybe 410 BMW, November 4th to the 22nd. So I guess whenever they'd come here, they'd paint their emblem on the water tower or something like that. Not sure if I'm reading that black part right, but it looks like Hertzsmith. And then it says Mighty. Right there though, it looks like it says Carswell Air Force Base, Texas, 14 through the 26th of September. Not really sure what year or anything like that. This building right here, which definitely looks old and part of the base, it's definitely been fixed up though, but it says welding technology. A lot of these buildings in the front part as you come onto this base are used by like a vocational technical school. The name of this VOTEC is WTC, Western Technology Center. And it looks like a really nice school to me. This is the back side of that building. I know it's gotten darker. I had to drive around, and then you just start seeing other buildings that look interesting, but it says Burns Flat Health Clinic. And so that's what makes me wonder if this was once a hospital. You can see a drive-through window over there like for prescriptions or something, and it says family practice and internal medicine. I don't think that's being used anymore, and if so, surely there's got to be better places to go get seen, because that place looks like it just has abandoned written all over it. Otherwise, be all sorts of infections and uncleanliness in there. As you go down through here, and I don't want to show license plates or anything, but you can see these have that old base housing look to them. So they are still here, and this is just neighborhood street after neighborhood street where these houses look like that, and some of them are just one house all together, and then others are just kind of split almost like a little duplex. I think I've seen some like that. The base of this flagpole, there's actually a monument, and it's going to be kind of hard to pick up with the camera, but basically it says, "Dedicated with affection to our civilian friends of Oklahoma from members of the Fighter 70th Bomb Wing, Clinton-Sherman Air Force Base, Oklahoma, April 1958 to December 1969. And it's from a colonel, and his last name is Lowman. Thank you for joining me on this little tour of the Clinton-Sherman Air Force Base. Kind of sort of abandoned, kind of sort of not. Little oddity within Oklahoma, and then it's going to be a space program. See you guys next time.